recording already?
It is recording, but that's why I get to edit it. Okay. Oh, I like the likeness better.
Told you.
All right.
It's a selfie trick too in front of a mirror. Not a mirror, a window.
Really?
Yeah. Girls have gotten good with that stuff.
Really?
Okay.
Happy Friday, everybody. My name is Presley. I'm with Perry Homes, and I am here with another good friend, Niki, and she has taught me a lot. She's come all the way out. So we're back. We're still in Tavola. Mm-hmm. She has came way out here just to give me some tips, and because I always like to learn. But I told her about the interviews or the conversations that I've been having with other agents and loan officers, and she started telling me about some of her stories, and I'm like, wait, this is so inspiring. This is such a big deal. I really want to get this on camera because I think it will help a lot of people. The goal of the conversations that I have with people is not to have a sob story. It's more to have something inspirational. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, great things are birthed out of pain, but I don't want people to start seeing a lot of my videos and think Presley's looking for the saddest story he can find. And, because after a while, your videos start to have a trend. And,
They do.
Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. So, tell me.
About me?
Yeah, because the first 30 seconds, I was like, whoa.
So I've done a lot of stuff in my life. One of the most important things is obviously being a mom. Being a single mom is sometimes hard. I've done a lot. I think a lot of people that know me would say that I am a hustler. I've always said that. Yes. I hustle.
A lot.
I do a lot. I've always, since I was younger, I've always wanted to be the best at everything. I once had a general manager tell me that I couldn't be good at more than one thing, and I thought he was full of crap. And my kind of life has been showing that that's not true. I think that you can have multiple different passions and stuff. I've always wanted to do real estate. It was important to me. I was married, was kind of discouraged not to do it. And I kind of let that take over. I wish I hadn't, but at the same time, everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. Was in the fitness industry for a very long time. Wanted to be the best at that, and I felt like I was the best that I could be. Mm-hmm. Always at the top of it. And after that, I was in the fitness industry. I finally decided to take the leap and get into real estate. I had a really good friend of mine, Keith, who kind of pushed me into it and said, "What do you need?" Mm-hmm. I was divorced at the time, and I was more worried about paying the $1,000 to do that than I was, to support Mason and do the other stuff. At that time, $1,000 was a lot, still a lot of money. It's a lot. Well, the first time he gave me $1,000, I didn't do it. I tried, and I just was distracted. It wasn't something that I had put everything into it for me. And when I put everything into it, nothing could stop me when I have my mind just set. And then I kind of had fun, did my stuff, and then decided that I was going to do it. Well, at that time, you got divorced. I'd gotten involved in an abusive relationship that wasn't really the best thing to be into. But then after that was kind of my time where I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do. I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to fail at it. And I didn't. For a long time, like most of us, we do 2 jobs and kind of stressed herself out. I was the director of a country club, and I worked probably 5 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. And then I would do real estate. It was a lot. And then Harvey hit.
Surprise.
Yay. So it's like you're going through a divorce and you have the bad stuff happening with an abusive relationship, and then Harvey hit, and in the beginning, all the streets started to flood, and me and Mason went and looked out, and the country club was flooding, and this was flooding, and you just never thought in a million years it would be as bad as what it was. And at that time, the roads flood, so you just think, oh, we'll just hang out and wait. You see people with the boat going by, and you're like, you're kind of prematurely leaving. Little did we know that we would flood. We got probably about 5.5 feet of water in our house. We were rescued by a boat the next morning. Your phone was dying because you lost power. They cut off the power when they released the dam. And at that point, I remember texting. The water was already coming into the house. I posted on Facebook, like most of my friends would probably remember, and I said, this is where we're at and we need help. and then everything's dark. You don't know what's going on. You can kind of flash your light and see how high the waters came. At that point, the water's covering cars. My brand new Tahoe that I had just gotten that I was so proud of, OnStar calls me at 2:00 in the morning and they're like, we have a flood distress signal coming for your car. I'm like, great, thanks.
So the car knew it was flooding?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And so it was that was probably one of the worst nights of my entire life. You're trying to keep everybody calm. Mason's freaking out. And as a single mom, you're just kind of
and
everything.
Mason's your son.
Yes.
Okay.
And you're just focused on everything. The next morning we go out, we're waiting to get rescued by a boat, and Mason's collecting snails. And so,
which is a good sign.
Which is a great sign. And my friend Sarah Shannon, who is getting into real estate now, her husband and her were coming to release the boat to come and save us. We had gotten rescued by somebody else. We were one of the first people out. And I remember seeing Sarah and Justin across the bridge, and I just started crying. He had a huge meltdown. That was probably my first meltdown, maybe one of my last ones. It doesn't really hit you, I don't think, until you start seeing all the bad stuff,
Right.
all the stuff you lose. You don't really know that you lose it until after. But then I really think after that, it's like you've been divorced, you had cancer, you got in a relationship that was horrible, you flooded from Harvey. It's like, really, at that point, what else can happen?
Right.
So you decide that you're either going to let everything completely take over, or you're going to be a stronger person, and anything that you wanted to do, you're going to freaking do it now, because what's the worst that can happen?
Right. Now you're unstoppable.
Yeah, what's going to happen? So that, I quit the country club job when I decided I wanted to do real estate full time. Probably wasn't the best time for me to do that because of the flood. And I rebuilt the club, very proud of myself. I built the team, and then I felt like that was the time for me to leave. And then I went broke. Because then you're paying everything off from Harvey.
Right.
And that was expensive. It's still expensive. I don't think people realize how much money you put into it, and you're still recouping from that stuff all the time.
Right.
Insurance doesn't pay for everything. FEMA doesn't help as much as everybody would like to think that they do.
Right.
And I was broke. It was challenging you lost everything. So you move into an apartment, and then it's challenging to pay the apartment. Mason needed a new pair of shoes, and I'm like, where in the heck am I going to get that from? Because everything at that point's maxed out, because you've paid the contractors and you've paid for your new stuff, and it's just the insurance money only goes so far.
Yeah.
And after that was my kind of turning moment, where I always said that I was always going to give back. I helped when Kingwood flooded the last time, and we went and brought pizzas.
Mm-hmm.
I made my 14-year-old go walk up to people who's probably the shyest person in the world and go ask them for pizzas, and help them clean up and just be there for support, because it's something it's not fun. It really sucks. But at the same time, if you look at the bright side of stuff instead, we got all new stuff.
Wow.
We got to start our life all over, which was fun, to say the least. I mean, Mason helped me carry a mattress up a second flight apartment by ourselves. It's stuff like that I think taught Mason stuff. It's taught me a lot of stuff. And because of all of that stuff, I will still I will hustle harder than anybody else will.
Right.
I think it's important. I think it's important to take care of other people. I think it's important for me to show Mason, as a single mom, that, just being a girl, you can do anything. Mm-hmm. But also that what you give is what you're going to get out of stuff. So bad things can happen, and you can sit there and you can be depressed about it, or you can say, this happened, and what are we going to do to make it better?
Right.
And so I've kind of built my business and my life and my career and raised my kid that exact way. It's like all this bad stuff can happen, and it did within a 5-year span. And I mean, it was awful, but at the same time, I'm happier now than I've ever been in my entire life. I'm more successful now than I've ever been in my entire life. I get to do multiple things that I love. I still get to teach group fitness. I still get to train if I want to. I get to help other agents and my team underneath me now and help them grow to be better. And so it's just that stuff. It's just stuff that happens. I think that God only gives you as much stuff that you can handle. And I think a lot of it's a life lesson, and it's to be able to tell your story and say that, I got divorced and I'm okay, or I had cancer and I'm okay, or I've been through an abusive relationship that you really think that you're going to die and you're okay. And you just you grow and you learn from it, and then you get to help other people tell your story.
But a lot of people will say, I was in a bad marriage or bad relationship,
Mhm.
and I can't take it. But yours was I was in a bad relationship
Mhm.
and Harvey
All at the same time.
and
It's
cancer
awful. Yes.
and being a single mom.
Yep.
And financial ups and downs.
I thought at one point I was going to have to file for bankruptcy.
Wow.
And it's crazy now coming into it thinking I have a boyfriend that I absolutely love. Mason is happy. I have two, hopefully one day, stepkids that I absolutely love. And you have all this stuff and it seems like everything just fits in so perfect.
Yeah.
And you're like, look at all the crap that I've done. But honestly, I wouldn't be where I was today if I wasn't challenged with all those things. I wouldn't be as strong or as determined, or I wouldn't hustle as hard as I do.
Mm-hmm.
My clients know that when I have them on a house, and it's that house, I don't care if I have that house or 10 different houses. They're important and their story is important. And I've helped single moms sell their houses, or people that have been in abusive relationships or, infidelity and stuff, sell their house. And every situation's always different. It's always hard, but I think it's being able to relate to people. It's your story that helps. Everybody has a story and you never know who it's going to help. So you shouldn't stay quiet about it. But yeah, I've been through a lot of crap. It's not always the most fun, but at the same time, I've learned from it and I've grown a lot because of it. And you just you make it your story, and then you get to inspire other people from that.
When you were in the midst of this crap,
Yes.
for lack of words, what allowed you to, when you woke up the next morning, to keep going?
Mason, you have to be, it's like you either sit there and you sulk, or you get up and you act like everything's okay. Even if it's not, everybody always says a smile changes things, right? And so sometimes I think it's the people that are hurting the most that are the best at disguising it. And are you going to sit in bed and you're not going to do anything? Or are you going to do things to make them better? And for me, it was because of Mason. And because I don't like losing.
You're a competitor.
I am.
You are very competitive.
I'm so competitive. And I don't like losing. I hate it when people say that they can't do something. Savannah, she'll tell me she just learned how to swim. And she's been trying to swim for so long, and she would cry and cry in the pool. And it just took one conversation to tell her, it's not scary. I'm not going to let you go under the water, and you're going to swim.
You're
and
going
that's
to
it.
swim. You
Yes.
have no choice. But
and if you say
success.
you can't do it again, you're going to do it. You can't say you can't. And I've always done that. I might fail at stuff. I might not be the best at stuff, but I'm going to try my hardest to be the best. I want people to know my name, and when they know my name, they know what comes behind that. And that's always been very, very important for me. Might talk a little bit too much or state my kind of view on things too much, but people know exactly what they're getting when they come that way, and I think that's really important. I think
it's a blessing, because a lot of people, Robert Williams, who was one of my favorite comedians,
Yes.
He had a lot of his pains and his struggle. I believe he talked about it from time to time, but
he hit a lot of it, and you can't do that. I think that if you talk about it, it's better, and you never know who it's going to help. I've talked about gun safety a lot on my Facebook. It's very important to me. I carry everywhere that I go, and I've done that because of the bad relationship that I was in. And I cannot tell you how many people that I don't even know that have written me and have told me stories about them and said how my story has helped them doing whatever. And that's the most important thing. When you're going through some things, you feel really alone. You could be surrounded by a million people and you still feel alone. And it's just, if telling your story can help one person, I think that's amazing. You can look at somebody and say, crap, she's been through all of this stuff and look at where I'm at now. I've built everything that I've had, and I haven't had help. Didn't come from money. I've built everything by myself. Money still, the bank account still starts to go down past a certain point, and I'm like, ugh, even though
the hustle comes out though.
It does. Oh, and then you start going again. You just never stop. But I think the most successful people are the people that do have a story. It's the same thing with fitness. When I lost all of my weight, it helped me relate to my clients more, because at one point you're bigger and then you lose weight and you have a story and you can relate to them. It's the same thing with house stuff. There's always a story behind every house. There's always a story behind every person. And I think that if you're real and you talk about it and you're out there with it, I think it's going to help people. And honestly, I'm not going to stop doing it.
I don't think you could stop if you wanted to.
I don't think I could. It's important to me. And it's not just this girl power stuff or whatever, but I think that everybody should be happy. I think that if you have a dream and you have something and you know that you want to do it, you should do it.
Yeah.
I wish I would have done it years ago. But again, everything happens at the time that it's supposed to. And then you get to look back on it and you think, I have built some pretty amazing things and I'm not going to stop. I'm not done. Not even close to being done.
And it took all of that to be the catalyst to...
It took all of that to do that. I mean, I've always been a hustler. When I got divorced, you're from a single, you're a single parent all of a sudden and you're paying all these bills that as a mom and a stay-at-home mom, you don't really, I worked part-time, but not full-time. And then all of a sudden you're like, crap, I have to do all of this by myself. And that's hard, but you do it. I got a flat tire on the road probably about a month ago going to a new agent interview and pulled over, went to the gas station. The guy came out and helped me and then I gave him money for helping me. But it's just certain things, it's, doing things on your own. I've never been the type of person where I like to ask for help. That I've struggled with that. That's something that I can work on. But I've always wanted to do it on my own. I've always wanted to be able to look back and say, I'm really proud of myself for the stuff that I've done. Instead of looking back and saying, I wish that I would have done that. That's not something that I ever want to do. I want to be able to look back at it and think that I've done a damn good job at the stuff I've done.
Right.
And I want Mason to be able to do that. That's important. And now the other kids that are involved, I want Savannah to be able to look back and say, this is what her mom did and this is what Nikki did, and her be strong because of it. It's just I don't like the woe is me stuff. Sometimes it's hard. I posted on Facebook about losing weight the other day and being in a rut, and somebody wrote to kind of put your big girl pants on and go get it, and they were totally right. And so it's just stuff like that. It's just, I think, inspiring other people, motivating other people, and then setting goals for yourself that aren't goals that you can reach, but goals that are unreachable. So then you just constantly keep hustling to get there, I think is what's going to make anybody successful in anything that they choose to do.
What was your goal that you told me you wanted to get a certain amount of agents in a different area of town? How many was it?
So moving to League City, I'm sure this number has changed a whole bunch.
I'm sure it's changed since the last time I talked.
But I want to have at least 50 agents by the end of this year in the League City area. That area is booming. LJ is a new one that we added, and he reminds me so much of myself in my first year of real estate, and he just hustles. He has a fitness background. Absolutely love him. And I want people like that, because it's just, he's going to help motivate the next people and the next people and the next people. And you build this team that's just untouchable. And they're all helping each other is great. In this industry, especially, some people are kind of more out for themselves, and it's just a dog eat dog kind of world, but I don't think it needs to be like that. I think that
it's plenty. It's just Houston. There's plenty out
there's
there.
tons of stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody can share, but it's the same thing with girls or anything. It's just, there's always competition and always stuff. And I think that you're the most happiest when you put that aside and you think to yourself, how can I be the best at what I want to be at? And how can the stuff that I've went through, how can that help somebody else? And if that can do something to help make somebody else's life better. It's all about helping people, I think, in our industry and in life in general. It's just, what can you do to help people?
Right.
I still see homeless people and I go and buy a pizza or food and go drop it off. Like, I don't know. It's just, it's always helping people. I think that should be everybody's kind of motto. Do what makes you happy and help people.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what we're friends.
Right?
So what would you tell people if you want to send me some business? What would you want to tell people you do?
For me? So I'm a real estate agent. I do still...
If you didn't know by now.
Yeah, we talked about it a lot. Real estate agent, and I was and still am selling in the north part of Houston, my kind of hometown. And Texas, I moved here about 7 years ago now, and Texas is home for us.
Where was home previously?
I was a military brat.
Okay.
And so we moved a lot, but mainly Virginia is where I kind of graduated from, then moved to Alabama and then Texas. But Texas has been home. Texas has been the only place that I've ever lived my entire life that I actually felt like home.
Yeah.
Me and Mason don't have family here. We don't really have family at all. And in Texas, I have more sisters and he has more grandparents. Everybody's, family. And I love Texas because of that, and I'll never ever leave. But North Houston, I still sell in North Houston, still have agents in North Houston, still bringing on agents in North Houston, but I did recently move to Lake City.
Okay.
And Lake City's booming, it's growing. we hope to open an office in League City soon, and then I want another office in Galveston, like possibly another office in Friendswood. I don't want to stop.
Those goals.
It's those goals. They just keep going. So I could have told you 25 agents and now it's 50, but you got to keep it moving all the time.
Yeah,
Can't ever be.
target.
Yeah, you can't be complacent in anything. I don't think.
What broker are you with?
JLA.
JLA.
John
Okay.
Altick. And
Hey, John.
he's awesome.
John is awesome.
He is. He's a good friend of mine.
Well, I appreciate everybody for watching. As always, we'll have some inventory homes after this, and also my website, which is perrywithpresley.com. It should be updated. And give Nikki a call if you're looking for a house or
Yes.
have questions or
Want to talk? I could talk anytime.
She's always there when I call.
I am fast.
Always hustling.
Always.
She's always like,
Always
Presley, I'm
hustling.
doing this, but we can talk while I'm driving.
Yeah, we need to have some theme songs in the back. Started from the bottom, now we're here. There we go.
As you're walking into the door.
Yeah, every time. Play it on our phone.
Well, again, thank you for watching, everyone. Do you
Yes,
have any
thank
last
you.
words or anything?
No, I appreciate everybody watching and listening.
Yeah.
It's fun. I always love coming and seeing you. It's fun.
All right, guys. See you next week. Peace
Bye,
out.
guys. Bye.